Welcome to Refuel with Jennifer Ballou. Join Jennifer for the next hour for a time to recharge, refresh, and refuel your heart and soul. Here's your host, Jennifer Ballou.
Hey everyone, welcome to Refuel. I'm so glad you're joining me today. We are still talking about spring cleaning, and I just, if this is your first time tuning in, or whatever the term is for this, go back and watch a couple of the past episodes and catch up. It's really good. It's just, and I'm saying that because I'm walking through it. God is really having me clean out some things that, I thought were already clean. It's, well, let me tell you this part first, and then I'll go into that. And anyway, that my brain is like going everywhere. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because just sitting in church Sunday, I realized that some of you may have a really I hope you don't think I'm saying this. Never at any time do we have to get clean before we come to God. When I am talking about spring cleaning, I am talking about going in with our dirty mess and allowing God to work in that to help us become who we are meant to be. That really we are going from a place at any point. Sometimes it's spring cleaning, sometimes it is a complete overhaul, but at any point in that process, in our walk with God, we are becoming who I was to who I am, and who I am meant to be, who I was created to be. And that's part of this spring cleaning process. And last night I had to go into a closet that it has been cleaned out. I cleaned it out like a year ago, completely, like emptied the entire room, everything out of the closet, cleaned it. And then I did it again in the fall, just because of my youngest moving into an apartment. There were some things that she decided she didn't want to take, just different things like that. So I opened that closet last night because I was looking for my middle daughter's college diploma that we still haven't framed, and it's been a couple of years. Anyway, I was looking for that, and I knew right where it was, like mentally knew right where I had put that, and I opened that closet, and that closet is not so clean anymore. Things have just been kind of shoved in there, different, especially, a tube for mailing. It had gotten kind of shoved down behind something. And anyway, I was just like, oh, I have a couple of closets like this in my life and in my heart. And God was dealing with some of those things yesterday, and it was not fun. They've been cleaned, but there's, life has happened, some other things have happened, and, you kind of cram it in there and it'll be fine. That's a clean closet. It'll be fine. There's room for it. Well, guess what? Not so much. And it gets messy pretty quick, and we've got to constantly be on that thing of cleaning things out and being aware of just what is happening and what is going on with that process. And since we've been talking about being self-aware, I know you're going to understand what I'm saying in that there's, and you'll hear, this is the last episode I'll be doing with Jodie, but we're talking again about being self-aware, and really the freedom that it brings. And that's kind of one of those flip sides to it too, of cleaning, that you could take one way and use it negatively. So I want to address that as well. there is freedom in knowing who we are. There is a freedom in His grace and in loving ourselves when we become self-aware and really take ownership of who we are. There is freedom in that. But there's a lot of the times that we embrace that freedom, or we embrace that personality, well, that's just who I am kind of a thing, and we don't grow with it. And that is not a positive. We need to understand our personalities and our person, who we are, what triggers us, what instinct we operate from, what fears, motivate us, and different things like that. But we need to understand those and be aware of those so that we can operate in a way that is not rigid in that personality. Does that make sense? Yes, I can say, well, this is just who I am and how I was made, and use that as an excuse to be, for myself, be a perfectionist and demand that everybody meet these standards. I can use that as an excuse. Or I can say, you know what? This is how I was made, but this is not how you were made. So I'm going to allow grace in that. You don't have to meet any standard, for me. Or this is how I was made, and so I don't need to meet this demanding standard that I'm putting on myself. So I'm just going to allow that, to look at it, to realize that that's how I was created and how I was made, but I'm going to move past that. That's where the freedom comes in, and that's how we learn to love other people and love them well, and to really allow God to move through us in that. So, if you'll I'm sorry, I just keep looking down at my notes, if you're wondering. Anyway, get ready. We're going to finish out the conversation with Jodie, just talking a little bit more about that freedom of being self-aware, really knowing who we are, about, allowing God to work in and through us in this cleaning process. And then we're going to get a little bit into self-care. And next week, you and I are just going to have a little conversation about what that really looks like and what that really means for us as far as a Sabbath rest, and what self-care can actually do for us as part of that cleaning process. So here we go.
Overlook people's flaws so much better.
Yeah. And loving them does not mean turning them into versions of you.
That's right.
Because when you say that's kind of
such
a lot of people,
yeah,
they think that's what love is. It's like, or they feel like that's discipling someone. That's not it.
That's so good, Jennifer. For real. That is so good.
But right?
No, absolutely.
Because we do not want a whole bunch of me's running around. When my girls and I are all together, I'm just going to tell y'all, it is a whole lot to handle. So can you imagine a whole world of us?
Yeah.
We would all kill each other like that.
And that's back to the whole relationship thing. Like, it's back to the relationship with the person, not about changing them.
Right.
Or like making them like you. It's seeing them for who God created. Man, I don't know. That's been a big revelation for me in doing counseling, is truly sitting with a person in their worst moments and being in awe at how God created them and the way that they tick.
Yeah.
Like, you are nothing like me. I would never do that. But, oh my goodness, I love you so much the way that God made you. You are the coolest person, and you're going to change in this process, but not to be like me or do things like I would do them, but to be what God made you to be in the wholeness, whatever that means for you.
Right. Yeah. And then part of investing in others too, is that we look at them with the eyes that that God has, that we see who, we don't see where they are right now. We see their original intent and who they were really created to be, and we call them up to that.
Yes.
Calling them up to that does not mean saying, you know, why aren't you here right now?
Yeah.
You know,
get it together.
We gotta grow in this together, and that takes encouraging and just being there to listen.
Yeah. On the other kind of flip side of that, with engaging with people, and there's insecurity of, I've struggled with that a lot, probably more in the past than I do now, but feeling like less than others. And if you're looking at someone like God's creation and appreciating them, just in awe of who they are, it's hard to be insecure, you know, when you're looking at someone like that. Because I think that insecurity piece is, I'm focusing on myself once again too much.
Right, yeah.
But when you're looking at someone else as this unique creation of God, and even with their weird things, that it's kind of interesting. I'll use that word a lot. That is so interesting. But it's hard to be either critical, and it's hard to be insecure in that relationship either.
That's good. That's good, because we all get that way.
Yeah.
So, Jodie had a moment of that when I turned the camera on.
I did.
You did great.
I probably would have changed 10 times and done more makeup or something if I'd known, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good.
Vulnerable moment. Turned out okay.
There was something else we were gonna...
Enneagram, mental health, and
Self-care?
maybe self-care. Listen to your body.
Yeah.
The little bitty things. Listen to
We've
your body.
both been on a journey for that for a long time.
Our body speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our body speaks.
I don't listen very well.
Well, me neither.
So guess what?
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes you slow down.
Well, here's my tips. Journal. I believe in it. Read a real book.
Yeah.
Words on a page. It's very healing to our brains. Be in community. Like, have people you can be real with. And I mean, counseling is great. That's a type of community.
Yeah.
We're supposed to confess our sins to each other, but also just community of like a little group that you get together with, a small group at church. You know, I work out and have a little community there.
Yeah.
Now. So there's
great.
different avenues for that.
Which that's kind of like the working out. I mean,
that's a
like
self-care.
That's a double whammy there, because you get the community, plus you're taking care of your body and your health, and that's, you know. And I did a little bit about self-care. I didn't do a great job on it. Shame on me. But I honestly did not do a great job on it on Valentine's about self-care. But it's so hard to like really research it in a kind of in a faith-based way. Because it's like, but again, it goes back to that selfish thing.
Yeah, it's not selfish. Well, I love what Dr. Caroline Leaf says about it. And she says, self-care isn't like chocolate cake and spa days. It's more of creating a life that you love to live in. So if you need to really examine, like, why do I feel the need to go have a million spa days and, you know, massages or chocolate cake or whatever it is? Then start to examine what's going on in my life that I could change to have a life that I love to live in, that I don't feel the need to escape. But just, even if you love your life, you still do have to stop and take care of yourself. So I agree with that. But I know we have no telling who all's listening to this in different places in life, so I thought it was good to say that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I like that. And, really learning active rest, that's a real thing, which I love that term, because I I don't rest well, as in like sit and stare at TV. Like I don't do that. That makes me so anxious. I hate it. I need to be doing something.
But a walk can be rest.
Yes, and so that's an active rest. And that would be a Sabbath rest as well.
Yes.
It is an active rest. And so at some point we're going to go into that. But yeah, but we have to get out of that thought process that self-care is selfish. Because if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not going to be around.
It's right. And being a hospice social worker, this is a huge part of hospice. We always talk about the caregiver because we see it all the time. The caregiver will just go and just run themselves into the ground. They will die or become seriously ill or injured before the patient dies or whatever the situation, of course. But I've seen it so many times, and it's in our assessment when we do our initial about the caregiver, and it's that way with anything in life. I mean, we're taking care of everybody and then not ourselves, and then before you know it, something goes wrong, and then everybody suffers because mama didn't take care of herself.
Yeah. This is true. Ask my kids.
Ask my kids.
Oh gosh, they hate when they have to take care of me. But it happens, and taking the time now to learn, and that emotional roller coaster kind of that COVID set off last year, I had to stop and really figure out what does active rest look like for me, because if I didn't get that, it wouldn't have just been one day a week spent crying. It would have been every single day,
and spiraling into a serious depression where then you have to get medication or really spend some time getting back to your normal, and that can be prevented if we listen to our bodies in a lot of situations.
And for some reason self-care is listed as manicures, pedicures, spa days, which are great. I love those.
I don't feel a pedicure or a manicure is restful for me, though.
No.
At all. I'm not relaxing.
No, me either. So. I'm like, that hurts. But that when you research it, that's the kind of stuff that comes up. Or working out, which works for her. That's not. It
does. But yoga and breath work are really good.
Yeah.
Active rest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
That's a good one to do.
Anyway, we just have to learn. I like organizing and cleaning out things and doing projects. That's restful to me because I don't really have to think about the task I'm doing. And so I can either mentally just check out, or I can have some really good conversations with God and get myself back on track. And I think that's really, when we think self-care, that kind of needs to be part of that process. Because, again, life takes it out of you. I mean, we go and do, and even when it's the things God calls us to, I'm sure, especially for you, because you hear stories of and walk into situations that are heavy and hard, you have to take the time to kind of decompress from that.
I can't bear the burden, other people's burdens. And I learned that in my training that, I have my own problems. That's their life, their journey, their problem. And I partner with them in a certain kind of way, but I don't take it on as my own burden. But no doubt it can be heavy at times. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. She's got a jet. Or we'd stay and talk.
We could. Oh my gosh, I could talk about all this stuff all day long for sure.
But thank you so much for joining me. And if anybody out there would like information about Jodie, I'll list. If I have figured it out by then, I'll list it below on YouTube stuff in the description box.
Okay.
Maybe. But if not, she's going to tell you.
Okay, yeah. Like for counseling?
Yeah.
The best way probably is on Psychology Today. You can find me.
Okay.
If you just search zip code search, I think I'm the first one on there, or one of the first ones on Psychology Today. That's probably the best way to do it. I have a website and I can't ever remember because it's weird. It's through my like booking software and I never can remember. So yeah, just do the Psychology Today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll find out what the website is and I'll list it below.
We'll do that.
Okay, well thanks. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this last bit of our conversation with Jodie. I hope you've gotten some really good nuggets out of the last 3 weeks. I know I have. Just, going back and editing it and re-listening to everything, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to remember that. I need to write this down to remind myself daily, to allow that grace of God to flow in my life, even as part of my personality, to allow that freedom to walk in that freedom that He has called us to, and to be able to love people well, because really that is part of it. If my thing, and I guess the kind of mantra that God has given me for my life is to dream big and to love bigger and to be you. That's really, the call that I feel that God has for me to put out there in the world. And this spring cleaning process is really, you can't dream big if you're, mired down by clutter and all those things, or if your closets are too full of junk. It's hard to dream big in that way, and it is really hard to love bigger when you are not in that place of being self-aware and really understanding people. That makes it so much easier to, again, be in awe of who God created them to be. I love how Jodie put that. And then to just allow ourselves to be ourselves, to be okay with who God made us to be. Because you are unique and the world needs you. So I hope you'll again join me next week. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Go find us on Facebook and Instagram. Check out the website, refuelwithjennifer.com. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.